We have WASSCE for the private candidates further mathematics paper 2 for 2022 November. So WASSCE NovDec paper is what we are solving here for 2022. So the first question here is solve cos 2x plus 3 sin x is equal to 2, where x is an acute angle. So you remember that cos 2x is the same as, so cos 2x is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square x. From double angles. So if that is the case, then the equation becomes 1 minus 2 sin square x plus 3 sin x is equal to 2. So this is the same as negative 2 sin square x plus 3 sin x and minus 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. So I brought a 2 to the left hand side. So when I multiply through by negative or divide through by negative 1, you get 2 sin square x minus 3 sin x, then we have plus 1 is equal to 0. Now if we let p to be equal to sin x, then the equation becomes 2p squared minus 3p plus 1 is equal to 0. So we look for factors of, this is like a quadratic equation in p. So a is 2, b is negative 3, and c is 1. So a times c is 2 times 1, which is 2. Now we have factors of 2 that will add up to negative 3 are negative 1 and negative 2. And when we multiply it, we get 2. So we split the middle term to get 2p squared minus p minus 2p plus 1 is equal to 0. So if that is the case, we will get 2p, we'll get p outside into brackets 2p minus 1, then minus 1 outside, then we have 2p minus 1 is equal to 0. So we have p minus 1 into 2p minus 1 is equal to 0. So either p minus 1 equals 0 or 2p minus 1 is equal to 0. So we get p is equal to 1 or p is equal to 1 over 2. But we know that p equals sin x, so it means sin x is either equal to 1 or 1 over 2. So when we take sine inverse of both sides, we get x is equal to sine inverse of 1 or sine inverse of 1 over 2. So x will either be equal to 90 degrees. Sine inverse of 1 is 90, or sine inverse of 1 over 2 is 30 degrees. So x is either equal to 30 degrees or 90 degrees for the given interval. Before we continue with the question 2, I would like you to click the like button if you found this video helpful. Thank you for doing so. Now question 2 says a binary operation is defined on the set of real numbers R by x o plus y is equal to xy plus x plus y, where x, y belongs to the set of real numbers. Find the identity element. So we let E be the identity element. Let E be the identity element. So we know that the identity element will operate on an element to give itself. So the operation is given by x plus y is equal to xy plus x plus y. So if the identity element operates on x, so x plus the identity element, it will give the x itself back. So we substitute this into the equation. So we see that E will take the place of y. So we get xe, x times the identity element plus x plus the identity element is supposed to be equal to x. So we group the terms containing the identity element is equal to x minus x. So we factor the identity element out is equal to 0. So dividing through by x plus 1, we get the identity element to be equal to 0 over x plus 1, which is 0. Then we're supposed to find the value of x if x o plus x is equal to 48. So x o plus x equal 48. So we have x times x, which is x times x plus x plus x again is equal to 48. So we will get x squared plus 2x minus 48 is equal to 0. Now two factors of 48 that negative 48 that will add up to 2, 8 and negative 6. So we split the middle term, x squared plus 8x minus 6x minus 48 is equal to 0. So we factor x out, x into x plus 8, and minus 6 out. We have x plus 8 here equals 0. So we have x plus 8 into x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x plus 8 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. So we have x to be either equal to 6 or x equal we have x equal negative 6, x equal negative 8. So x equals 6 or negative 8. Before we move on to the question 3, I would like you to share this video with your friends and colleagues, and thank you very much for doing so. So you can just click the share buttons, then forward it to your friends, share it on social media. Thank you very much. for doing so. So question 3 says if alpha and beta are the roots of the equations 5x squared plus bx minus 2 equals 0, where p is less than 0 and alpha minus beta is equal to 1 whole number 2 over 5. Find the value of p. So from the given equation, we know a, this is a quadratic equation, so a is equal to 5, b is equal to p, and c is equal to negative 2. And we know that alpha plus beta is minus b over a, and alpha beta is equal to c over a. So alpha plus beta will be alpha plus beta will be equal to minus b is negative p over 5, and alpha beta will be equal to c over a. So alpha beta will be negative 2 over 5. Remember the formula for alpha minus beta. From the question, we were told alpha minus beta is equal to 1 whole number 1 over 2, 2 over 5, 1 whole number 2 over 5. So when we change this, we get 1 times 5 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So 7 over 5. Recall that alpha minus beta is equal to square root of alpha plus beta all squared minus 4 alpha beta. So this is equal to 7 over 5. So when we square both sides, we get alpha plus beta all squared minus 4 alpha beta is equal to 49 over 25. So we substitute the alpha plus beta, which is negative p over 5. So negative p over 5 all squared minus 4 into bracket alpha beta is negative 2 over 5. So negative 2 over 5 is equal to 49 over 25. So p over 5 all squared, or p squared over 25 plus 8 over 5 is equal to 49 over 25. So p squared over 25 will be equal to let's multiply through by 25. We get 8 times 25. Okay, so 49 over 25 minus 8 over 5. So multiply through by 25, we get p squared to be equal to 49 minus 5 times 25. 5 are going to 25 how many times? 5 times. So 8 times 5 is 40. So p squared will be equal to 9. So p will be equal to plus or minus square root of 9. So p is equal to plus or minus 3. So p is either equal to 3 or p equal negative 3. But we're told that p is less than 0. So p is therefore equal to negative 3. Please, if you have a question, feel free to ask in a comment. Question 4 says, using the trapezium rule, with 5 ordinates. Estimate correct to 2 decimal places. Integral of 0 to 4. Integral of 1 over square root of x squared plus 3 dx from 0 to 4. So you need to recall that the trapezium rule is given by so the integral of f of x from a to b is given by 1 over 2h. And then we have into bracket first y value plus the last y value, then plus 2 times all other remaining y values. So y2, then y3, up to all the remaining y values. So y sub n minus 1. So you add all. Good. Now we know that the h is given by, where the h is given by b minus a over n minus 1, where n is the number of ordinates and b and a are the limits of integration. So we need to find the y values by putting the x values into this f of x. This is the f of x. So how do you get the x values? You add the h to the first limit until you get the last limit. So we were told that h is equal to b minus a over n minus 1. So this implies that h will be equal to, the b is 4, the a minus 0, the n is 5, which is the 5 here, then minus 1. So this will give us 4 over 4, which is 1. So you keep adding a 1 to the lower limit. So 0 plus 1 will give you the next x value. Then plus 1, 2 will give you the next y value. Plus 1 will give you the next x value, which is 3, until you get to 4. Then to get the y value, you put the x value into the f of x. So when x equals 0, y will be equal to 1 over square root of 0 squared plus 3. So you compile them into a table like this. So when you put 0 into this f of x, you get 0.57735. When you put 1 into this f of x, you get 0.5. When you put 2 into this f of x, you get 0.37796. So you know how we got the x values. This one, you keep adding it to the lower limit here. So 1 plus 0 will give you 1. That will give you the next one. Then 1 plus 1 will give you 2. Then 1 plus 2 will give you 3. 1 plus 3 will give you 4. If you reach the last limit there, then you stop. So you have 5 ordinates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we just have to put these y values into the formula and the value of h. So we will get the integral of 0 to 4 of 1 over square root of x squared plus 3 dx to be equal to 1 over 2 times 1 square bracket, we have 0.57735, then plus the last y value here, which is 0.22942. Then plus 2 times the remaining y values. So 2 times this plus this plus this. So 2 times 0.5 plus 0.37796 plus 0.28868. So when you simplify this, you get 1 over 2 into 0.80677 plus 2.33328, and this will give you 1.57 to 2 decimal places. A bag contains 30 identical balls of different colors. 1 over 5 are red, 3 over 10 are blue, 1 over 3 are yellow, and the rest are white. If 3 balls are picked at random from the bag without replacement, find the probability that exactly one of them is white. So let's find the number of sample space, or let's find the number of red balls. So we have the total number of balls to be 30. And we're told that the number that are red, number of red balls is 1 over 5 times 30, which is equal to 6. The number of blue balls is 3 over 10 times 30, and this is also equal to 9. Then we also have number of yellow balls, which is 1 over 3 of 30, that is equal to 10. So if you add 10 plus 6, you get 16, plus 9, you get 25. So the number of white balls will be 30 minus 25, which is 5. Now, we have to find the probability that when 3 balls are selected or are picked at random without replacement, exactly one of them is white. So probability of selecting exactly one white ball from 3, when 3 balls are picked from 30 is, so we have the possibility that when we pick one white out of the 5 white, so we have 5 combination, one way of doing that. Then we pick the remaining 2 colors from 25. We have 25 combination, 2 way of doing that. Then the number of ways we can pick 3 balls from 30 identical balls is given by 30 combination 3. So this will give us 5 times 300. 5 combination 1 is 5. Then 25 combination 2 is 300. All over 30 combination 3 is 4060. So this will reduce to 75 over 203. And this is equal to 0.3695. Sorry, I use the same initial for blue and total number of balls, so let me change this one to U. So total number of balls, number of U is 30. So now let's look at the next question. The table shows the age distribution in years of a group of students. As you can see, using an assumed mean of 18 years, find the mean age of the student. Remember, as using the assuming method, the mean is given by assume mean A plus summation FD over summation F, where A, the assume mean, is 18. So we quickly find the deviation, which is subtracting the assumed mean from the x values. Now, because we're given intervals, what we're going to do is that we select the midpoint of the intervals to represent the ages in years. So that will quickly form a table for us like this. We have the age, the frequency, the x will be the midpoint. So midpoint from 14 to 16 is 15. Then this one will be 18. 17 to 19, the midpoint is 18. Then this one, the midpoint is 21. Then the midpoint will be 24. And this one will be 27. Then the deviation, we subtract the mean from the x values. So deviation is x minus the assumed mean. X minus the assumed mean. The assumed mean is 18. So 50 minus 18 is -3. Then 18 minus 18 is 0. 21 minus 18 is 3. Then this one is 6. Then 27 minus 18 is 9. So the FD will be F times D. So 6 times 3, -3 is -18. Then this will give us 0. Then 3 times 24 will be 72. Then we have 6 times 7 will be 42. Then we have 9 times 8 will be 72. So the total of the summation FD, the total of the deviations and frequencies multiplied together is 168. So the mean is therefore equal to 18 plus 168 over 60. And this will give us 20.8. Before we continue with the question 7, please kindly subscribe to this channel if you have not done so yet. Share and comment your questions. Thank you very much for doing so. Question 7 says P -2, 1, Q 5, 3, and R, X, Y are points in the same plane. Find vector PQ and vector PR. So recall that vector PQ, position vector OQ minus position vector OP. So that will give us OQ to be 5, 3 minus OP to be -2, 1. So this will give us 5 plus 2, then 3 minus 1. So that will be equal to 7, 2. Now, for PR, vector PR, is given by position vector OR minus position vector OP. So OR will be XY, then OP will be -2, 1. So this will be equal to X plus 2, then Y minus 1. Now we're asked to, question B said, if PQ is perpendicular to PR, find a relation for X in terms of Y. So if PQ is perpendicular to PR, then PQ, vector PQ dot vector PR should be equal to 0, because the dot product of perpendicular vectors is equal to 0. So it means that X plus 2, which is vector PQ, X plus 2, Y minus 1 that we got should be equal to dot PR, which is 7, 2, vector 7, 2 should be equal to the 0 vector. Now it should be equal to 0. Now we should be equal to 0. It's a dot product, so it's not a vector. It's equal to 0. So it's not the 0 vector, it's just 0. Scalar 0. So dot product. So this will give us X plus 2 times 7 plus 2 times Y minus 1 is equal to 0. So if we expand, we get 7x plus 14 plus 2y minus 2 is equal to 0. So we have to express x in terms of y. So we're going to make it a subject. So we have 7x. 14 minus 2 is 12. So 7x will be equal to -12 minus 2y. So dividing both sides by 7, you get x to be equal to -12 minus 2y over 7. Here we have question number 8 on moment. A uniform beam PQ of length 110 centimeters, which is the same as 1.1 meters, and weight 60 Newton, is suspended on a pivot 50 centimeters from Q. It is kept in equilibrium by forces T and 25 Newton applied at R and S respectively, where PR is 20 centimeters and QS is 15 centimeters. Find correct to 2 decimal places the value of T. So we can illustrate this in a diagram like this. So we can see the diagram. The uniform beam is PQ. Then the weight in the middle is 60 newtons, suspended on the pivot. The pivot is this 50 centimeters from Q. So from the pivot to Q is 50 centimeters. Then say it is kept in equilibrium by forces 25 Newton, T and 25 Newton applied at R and S respectively. So R is here and S is here. And we're given the distance from Q. We're given that PR is 20 centimeters. And we're also given QS with 15 centimeters. So it means we will have the demarcations like this. Since this is 15 centimeters, the whole thing from here to here is 50. So this would be 35 centimeters. That's from here to here with 35 centimeters. Then the whole thing is 110 centimeters. So if this is 50, from here to here is 50, then the remaining one is 60. From here to here will be 60. So if from here to here is 20, as it is given from the question, then from here to here should be 40. Good. Now this is what we are going to do. We're asked to find, correct to 2 decimal places, the value of t. So the value of t can be found by taking moment. Principle of moment says that the sum of all the clockwise moments should be equal to the sum of the anti-clockwise moment. So let's go. So sum of anti-clockwise moment, sum of anti-clockwise moment from t to the pivot here. From t to the pivot is 40. From t to the pivot is 40. So in meters, that will give us 0.4 meters times t. Moment is the force times the perpendicular distance. So 0.4 times t. So taking moment, anti-clockwise moment about the pivot, 0.4 times t, because from here to here is 0.4. Then also from the center of the beam, which is the weight, from the center of the beam, which is the weight, to the 50 centimeter should give us 5 centimeters, because the center is 55 centimeters from any of the points P and Q. So if from here to here is 50, then from this point here to the pivot should be 5 centimeters. So that is also anti-clockwise moment. So 0.05 meters times the force, which is 60 newtons. So that is all the anti-clockwise moment. It should be equal to the clockwise moment. So the clockwise moment about the pivot will be 25. We have only one. 25 times 0.35 meters. So 0.35 meters times 25 newtons. So we have 0.40 will be equal to 0.35 times 25 minus 0.05 times 60. So this will give us 5.75. So 0.4 t will equal to 5.75. Dividing both sides by 0.4, we get t to be equal to 14.38 newtons. So that is what we have for now in this video. We solved the compulsory questions, question 1 to 8. In the next video, we are going to look at the remaining questions. So please, if you want to get a notification when that video is posted, which is coming very soon, you have to please subscribe to this channel so that you'll be informed when the video is uploaded. Thank you so much. See you in the next video, God willing.